This is Nightline.
Tonight, Wendy Williams speaking out in a new interview with The Breakfast Club's Charlemagne the God.
This whole thing about frontal temporal dementia is ridiculous.
And the new legal twist with her dementia diagnosis. Plus, Superstar Showdown.
Mahomes steps up, throws, and he got it!
Two NFL powerhouse quarterbacks.
Hurts, in, touchdown, Eagles!
The Chiefs' Patrick Mahomes and the Eagles' Jalen Hurts. Squaring off in the biggest game of the year, Super Bowl 59. One seeking to cement a dynasty.
I just want to be remembered as one of the greatest teams of all time at the end of the day.
And the other seeking revenge.
You put a lot of hard work in for moments like this.
But who does America want to win? And trans athletes banned. With a stroke of a pen, President Trump ordering schools to keep transgender athletes out of women's sports. One NCAA champion at the center of the controversy weighing in.
It's about control of people's bodies and autonomy.
Others praising the move.
We believe that sends a long overdue message that women and girls have rights and those rights matter.
What happens next? Plus, the Goonies.
You boys like fun?
Celebrating the big 4-0. The stars of the beloved film reuniting. Could a sequel be next? Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with Wendy Williams, fighting for her freedom. Her family and fans protesting a controversial guardianship. But word tonight that her guardian is now asking a judge to reevaluate the former talk show host's dementia diagnosis. Could this be a critical step in Williams regaining her independence? Wendy Williams speaking out again today to Charlemagne the God on The Breakfast Club.
Thank you. Well, look, I'm dealing with these court people and my guardian person, and that is the big deal. So you know what? I don't have frontal temporal dementia. You know what I'm saying? It's disgusting. That is a very rare thing for anybody to have. You understand what I'm saying? It's like one of those types of things where I'd be a blibbering idiot. Like, I can't take a shower, I can't dress myself, I can't speak, I can't listen, I can't.
Her recent comments prompting her state-appointed guardian to petition the court for a new medical reevaluation for primary progressive aphasia and frontotemporal dementia, and to say they will put a pause on a lawsuit related to a recent documentary about Wendy.
Well, this whole thing about frontal temporal dementia is ridiculous, and I don't want this lawsuit.
Most know her as the larger-than-life, self-proclaimed queen of all media, host of her own namesake daytime gab fest, The Wendy Williams Show.
Here's Wendy!
But lately, she's been in the spotlight for a more serious reason. According to her care team, she was diagnosed with a form of dementia. Her reported public decline shocking her loyal fans.
We had heard so many rumors about how she was doing. You know, we didn't know where Wendy Williams was.
For nearly 3 years, she's been under a court-appointed guardianship to manage her health and finances. Recently, Wendy has been speaking out in phone interviews, advocating for her independence. The filing states that Wendy appeared to indicate that she does not want to proceed with the ongoing lawsuit, and that the lawsuit's whole purpose was to financially benefit Wendy and support her health. It continues to state that not only will the guardian not receive any financial benefit from the A&E matter, but our firm has not received a penny. And the guardian wants to be transparent about Wendy's condition, saying, quote, "It would be prudent for Wendy to undergo a new medical evaluation." And of course, we'll continue to follow the latest in this saga. For now, we turn to stunning developments in sports and a hotly debated issue. President Trump banning transgender athletes from women's school sports. Some say it restores fairness, while others say it's just the latest attack on a marginalized group.
These kids are going to be deprived of community, friendship, and learning opportunities out of cruelty.
It absolutely is a win.
It's the latest development in a heated national debate around transgender athletes in women's sports.
We will not allow men to beat up, injure, and cheat our women and our girls. From now on, women's sports will be only for women.
President Donald Trump following through on a campaign promise, signing an executive order titled Keeping Men Out of Women's Sports, which he says will be enforced immediately. Joining the president, women and girls of all ages, like 12-time All-American pro swimmer Riley Gaines, who's been waiting for this day for years, speaking to Nightline in 2022.
Not only were women kind of put in this position where we have biological males competing against us, we were put on the back burner for biological males.
If one girl is knocked off of a team because a male competed on that team, one girl is knocked off of a podium, that is one too many.
This is a huge development. It's a big cultural issue. It's divided the country.
Under the new order, schools that don't comply risk having their funding cut.
It's also a maximum use of federal power, using the power of the purse to tell them how they should run their sports.
Advocates celebrating the move, arguing that allowing trans athletes to compete could give an unfair advantage.
In many ways, it's President Trump finishing what he started in his first term, to again ensure fairness, safety, and privacy for women and girls.
But trans advocates say it's discrimination and a violation of human rights. We first sat down with Leah Thomas in 2022 when she came out as trans as a UPenn swimmer and found herself at the center of this fiery debate.
What has the reaction been in the trans community? Explain that a bit.
This executive order is among other executive orders and other legislative moves to further police bodies and police who is woman enough to fit into that category and be allowed to compete.
Thomas won an NCAA title that year in the 500-yard freestyle. Her success is quite rare. According to the NCAA president, out of 510,000 NCAA athletes, fewer than 10 are known to be trans. And yet her victory ignited a heated debate in women's sports.
You set the record. In many ways, do you fear that your success in some part triggered some of this backlash that we're seeing now?
It was hard not to sort of place a little bit of blame on myself that it's not because of me, it's because Republicans in positions of power are trying to control and limit our autonomy and how we can live our lives. And if it wasn't me, it would have been the next trans woman.
On the one hand, trans athletes and the people who support them say, look, this is who they are. And they would like to compete in the athletics that they love. On the other side, of people are saying it's just unfair. Even some people who support equality and equal opportunity and a flourishing life in our society for trans people feel this is a step too far.
According to a 2023 Gallup poll, 69% of Americans believe transgender athletes should only be allowed to compete on teams that conform with their gender assigned at birth.
We're talking about 12-year-olds who have lived their whole lives as who they are and are being asked to then play on a different gendered team.
Skylar Baylor made history as the first openly trans male athlete to compete in NCAA Division I sports, swimming for Harvard in 2015.
Skylar, what comfort do you give to those who are feeling like this is a real turnaround, a setback for trans rights and the trans community?
I think this is something that's critical, and to validate those emotions while also reminding that we are absolutely capable of moving through this.
Bodies come in all shapes and sizes. There's no one single determinative factor in athletic performance. It's just too complicated to narrow down to one thing.
So what Trump is doing typically is sort of seizing the hottest issue and going at it with maximal force.
It's the latest move following a flurry of anti-trans executive orders.
We've gotten the woke lunacy out of our military. And now we're very importantly getting it out of women's sports. That's taking place very strongly.
He signed an executive order saying that the United States government only recognizes two sexes, male and female, for all purposes. He also banned gender-affirming care for people under the age of 19. And now the ban on transgender athletes in school sports across the country. This is a major initiative of the earliest days of the Trump administration.
The NCAA now pledging to follow Trump's EO, saying in part, President Trump's order provides a clear national standard. The NCAA Board of Governors is reviewing the executive order and will take necessary steps to align NCAA policy in the coming days. In the wake of Trump's executive order, Lambda Legal, a firm that advocates for transgender and non-binary rights, saying in a statement, there seems no bottom to which this administration will not go to hurt and exclude transgender people, especially transgender children and youth. As for Thomas and Baylor, they say their fight is far from over.
Do you feel like this is defeat? Is the fight over?
It is not over. And now is a time more than ever that trans people as a community have to band together and stick tight and support each other.
I really want to validate that this is a really difficult time for so many of us. I think being trans will always be a superpower. It might not feel like that right now. Maybe Trump can't see that, the government can't see that, but there are so many people who do see you.
With this executive order, the war on women's sports is over.
I think a lot of people wanted to resolve this without the hammer of federal power coming down. But I think a lot of women in sports, who have spoken out about how they feel that this is unfair to them, I think they'll welcome it. If it stands up in court, it's the end of the participation of young trans athletes in the sports that they want to play.
And coming up, Superstar Showdown. Two of the NFL's best quarterbacks facing off in the biggest game of the year, Super Bowl 59. Welcome back. We're counting down to Super Bowl 59, and all eyes are on the two biggest stars of the game, the QBs Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, squaring off in the Big Easy in a matchup for the ages. Here's Nightline's Ashan Singh.
Rolling, Mahomes, he can keep it, he can get there, he's in for the touchdown.
They're two of the biggest stars in football competing for its biggest prize.
Hurts, delay, Hurts, in, touchdown, Eagles.
Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes and Eagles Jalen Hurts facing off again in the Super Bowl, a rematch of 2023 where the Eagles lost to the Chiefs in a heartbreaker.
You can't just bank on hoping for results to come without the work.
Well, I understand that it's going to be a challenge.
Everyone knows the Eagles. Everyone knows the Chiefs. It's this dream team that Americans have fallen in love with or are sick of, one or the other.
Put a lot of work in to have these moments, and it's something you want to take advantage of.
Just days away from the big game.
I turn now to the quarterbacks.
Both quarterbacks standing side by side on Media Day. Later, sitting down with ESPN. Hurts with the legendary former quarterback Cam Newton.
You ready to rap? Ready to chat?
And Mahomes with Michelle Beisner-Buck.
You have been here before many times. How would you describe the first time that you won an AFC title to this most recent one that's sending you to Super Bowl 59?
They're all different. I think the first one, it was just so special just being able to do it at Arrowhead.
Mahomes has become one of the biggest names in football, both on and off the field. He's the face of State Farm Insurance.
Check it out.
And now, Doritos.
As an actor, like you said, I feel like I'm a really good evaluator of talent.
He and his wife, Brittany, who appeared in the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue last year, just had their third child, a girl named Golden, joining older siblings Sterling and Bronze. Brittany Mahomes, often seen alongside Taylor Swift at the Chiefs games. The quarterback's wife celebrating their friendship on Instagram with 2 million plus followers.
She loves it. Obviously, they're friends, they're hugging, they're happy. You've got the quarterback's wife and the receiver's girlfriend, and they're loving life, and it's pure fun. And my sense is that we'll be aware of Brittany Mahomes, and she'll be a part of our culture for a very long time.
Kansas City, one win away from an unprecedented three-peat, winning 3 Super Bowls in a row.
3 Chief, a Chief Pete, whatever it is, they're about to head to New Orleans.
Mahomes says he's as hungry now as ever.
I just want to be remembered as one of the greatest teams of all time at the end of the day.
What kind of emotions run through you when I say that you and the Kansas City Chiefs are chasing history to become the first team to ever win 3 consecutive Super Bowls?
You have an appreciation for it, but for me, it's all about the year that you win it. Every year is different. But I just enjoy the moments and appreciate stepping on that football field with some of the great players that will ever play the game.
Sunday will be Mahomes' 5th Super Bowl appearance in 6 years.
What is your process like for you to lock in the way that you do?
I don't know how to really explain it. Whenever I get to some of these big games sometimes, it's just another level of focus, and This is what you prepare for all year long. It's what you prepare for your whole entire life.
Mahomes will be facing off against Hurts, who's getting a rare chance for revenge. Telling Newton, a former league MVP himself, who was unable to get it done at the big game.
I remember my only go around. To say I was heartbroken is to really, there wasn't words. Got the MVP, was the golden child of that time. But I didn't win. Vulnerably speaking, I cried. You got a second opportunity at this. What's your mentality going into this game?
Focus and finish. I can relate to you on that. Not the crying, but I can relate to you on coming up short after giving it everything that you had. But, you know, in this game, sometimes it's just not enough. Well, honestly, it's not your turn yet, and so.
So you believe in divine timing?
I think everything happens when it's supposed to, and I think there's always a learning lesson in everything, and ultimately it's about how you respond to what you do.
All that we go through, all that we've been through, even this moment right here. Show me something tonight, man.
You know, there's going to be highs and lows, and you have to take them all in at a time, and stay diligent in your process, work, and put forth a good effort.
The loss 2 years ago, leaving a bitter taste for Hurts.
Hurts has some time going deep.
Who had an outstanding game against the Chiefs, but fell short.
Butker up, got it!
KC winning it all on a field goal in the final second.
And the Kansas City Chiefs have won Super Bowl 57.
But that was then. Hurts says he's ready now.
I've been able to push myself.
Hurts is in!
You put a lot of hard work in for moments like this.
Our thanks to Ashen. Up next, the Goonies, the cast reuniting for their big 4-0. And finally tonight, the Goonies reunion. 40 years in the making.
You boys like fun?
4 decades later, the stars of the 1985 classic coming together to honor Oscar winner and castmate Ke Huy Quan. Josh Brolin, Corey Feldman, and Sean Astin among those gathering for Kwan's hand and foot ceremony at the famed TCL Chinese Theater in Hollywood, formerly known as Grauman's. A few hours later, they were on the red carpet for the premiere of Kwan's new movie, Love Hurts. The stars saying they would love to reunite for a sequel. And fans can't wait. That's Nightline. You can watch all of our full episodes on Hulu. We'll see you right back here, same time tomorrow. Thanks for staying up with us. Good night, America.